Chapter 5. It seemed to take ages for Christabel to fall asleep that evening, but finally it happened. Basher put on the pendant and prepared himself for the energy change. It didn't feel too uncomfortable, so he relaxed a bit as the magic did its job. It was time to head for the bear dimension. He made his way to a row of dustbins just outside the house. The wall behind the bins didn't lead directly to the bear dimension. It led instead to the corridor, a place that was occupied by everyone and anyone from all sorts of places. Bears lived in the bear dimension, rabbits lived in the rabbit dimension, dogs in the dog dimension, and so on. The corridor was the place they met up. It was very similar to the people dimension, except for the fact there were no people there. There were many beastly bear clubs in the corridor, and Basher headed for his favourite, using the special walk he'd been working on, which always looked impressive. He made it into the club, under the watchful eye of the bouncers, who guarded the door against anyone who wasn't cool enough to get inside. As he slouched through the door, he saw a few bears look round. Basher knew they wouldn't know who he was, but he still didn't want too many questions. Luckily, he'd already thought of a plan. He went straight up to the bar and said in his best French accent, "Hello, my name is Philippe. I'm writing an article on the Beastliest Bears in history. I would very much like to talk to anyone here who could help." The bar bear thought for a moment. "Well, you could always try Bones over there. He won the title of Beastliest Bear 6 years running." "Why did he not win the 7th time?" Basher was all ears. "Well, he decided not to enter. He reckoned he had such a good reputation, he didn't need to." Basher nodded, secretly very impressed, as the bar bear continued. "I don't think anyone knows his real name. He never uses it anyway. Bones is a nickname he came by years ago. He had an argument with a big dog over a pile of bones. He wanted to use a couple for tent pegs. The dog went for him, but Bones stood his ground. As it happened, the dog's lead was tied to a heavy suitcase, so he couldn't move very fast. Apparently, Bones just scratched his head. "That's strange," he said. "I've never seen a dog take its luggage for a walk before." The dog was so embarrassed it stopped in its tracks and slunk away with its tail between its legs. Bones walked away, cool as a cucumber and not a hair out of place. Basher could hardly contain his delight. This was the bear he needed. He tried to look as if he wasn't really bothered. "I think I will leave in my card. Can you pass on my furriest regards and an even larger of your best ginger beer? Perhaps, if I happen to pop in again, he would consent to a little interview." Once outside, Basher drew a deep breath. It had gone very well so far. He had done all the right things. At the Beastly Bear Club, bears never introduced themselves immediately. It was always through someone else, and a bear absolutely had to have a business card to pass on. That was the proper way to do things. It just wasn't cool to appear too keen. A beastly bear should always look like they have better things to do than wait for an introduction to a stranger. Laid back was the order of the day, and it had been a long and tiring day at that. Basher yawned as he headed home through the night. Although he would never admit it, he was even looking forward to curling up on one of those awful pink cushions and falling fast asleep.